What is good, y'all? Hit the like button when you come up in here. Granddaddy Pluto tonight. What's good, y'all? Mikey T, the movie star here. We got to talk about some things. We got to talk about Gillie the kid. That's right, y'all. That's right, y'all. We're going to be talking about Gillie the kid tonight. Let me do something real quick. Let me get my audio situated here. Let me make sure all my audio levels are straight, you guys. Hit the like button when you come in here. Hit the like button, y'all. Y'all know Gillie's my guy. Y'all know Gillie's my guy. Hit that like button when you jump up in here. Show some love on the channel. Drop a comment. Let me know what city and state you're tapped in from. We got some things to talk about tonight, you guys. Let me see. Yeah, that's right. Birdman let out a story we got to talk about tonight, y'all. The infamous story from Philly that we've all heard about. Philly's in the building. Was popping to the point. Philly's in the building. Let me know what city and state you're tapped in from. Hit that like button. We got some things to address tonight. You know, we're going to dip back into the whole Major Figgas era with Cash Money since Birdman finally spoke on it. And of course, it had to be Wack 100, right? It had to be Wack 100 to actually bring this whole thing up. How corny does that sound? See here real quick. Logan Valley, what's popping? What's up? What's up? Logan Valley, but you're in North Carolina. Reno, Nevada, what's popping? Reno, Nevada's in the building tonight. You already know what to do when you tap in here. Hit that like button. You already know what to do. Share this video one time. We're about to have a heavy conversation tonight. What it do, Mike? You got a podcast out here too. That's what's up, man. Salute to your podcast, bro. Do your thing, man. Much support to you. Lowski. I'm about to roll up some. That was the Granddaddy Pluto. That shit's like 27%. Let's make it do what it do. Hit that like button, y'all. What up? What up, A-Wax? You already know what to do. Share this video with one friend. You heard? I'm rolling up some fire right now, you guys. If y'all are ready for this conversation, hit that like button. If y'all are ready for this heat tonight, y'all want to cook? Y'all want to cook tonight? What homies you talking about? Damn, this shit is absolute gas. Y'all, I smoke gas. I smoke gas. Gillie's one of my homies that I be smoking gas with. So, there's some things we got to address. There's some things we got to address. Birdman said a lot. Let's first ask why and how is Wack 100 conveniently involved in all of this? That's the first question I want to ask. How is Wack 100 so conveniently involved in this? Ask yourself all of that. How's Wack 100 involved, man? Why is Wack 100 involved? Is he back to his antics of stirring up bullshit because that's what he does best? That's all he can actually do is stir up bullshit. So what? He's got his hero Birdman up there talking. And for y'all out there, they're going to be like, what do you mean his hero, Mikey T? Yeah, Birdman is a real blood. So Wack 100 feels like if people see that he messes with real bloods, people will think he's a real blood. Birdman was going off saying, I never made $1 off of Gillie. Not $1. I never put a record out with Gillie. Listen, nobody said anything about money. You see, right away, Birdman jumped to conclusions. You know what I mean? If he's talking about me, he must be talking about money that I owe him. Right away, Birdman is on defense mode. I mean, there was a joke back in the day about Gillie saying his $8,000 check bounced or the account had no money in it, and Gillie looked like a fraud or he looked kind of crazy trying to cash the check. There was the joke about that, but seriously, you know what I mean? Gillie, you're my boy. You're my boy, Gillie, but the popularity thing we can do, you know what I mean? Obviously, it's evident you've got a bit more clout and popularity than Birdman right now, but let's not do the money thing with Birdman. Let's not do the money talk with Birdman because Birdman, he's loaded, man. Certain stuff, it's like, come on. Gil. You can win in another way. Remember, Birdman has been getting money for a long time, a hell of a long time. Gillie right now is honestly just getting into the prime of his career. But my whole thing is this. Like, this is the thing that really pisses me off. You know what I mean? This is my thing. Like, why does everyone wait till Gillie's son passed to come at him all crazy? Why, when he's in this vulnerable state, do they attack him? Like, what kind of coward shit is that? They wait till this point in his life. To me, that's coward shit. Where were you 4 months ago with this? Where were you 4 months ago with this? Is it because Gillie's name is in the headlines and you want clout? You're talking about Gillie on Clubhouse. Birdman, what are you even on Clubhouse for? Why are you even on there? Come on. I'm just saying, because you would have to pay me to go on there. You'd have to pay me to go on there. Birdman actually got tricked into this conversation with Wack 100 because Wack wanted him to talk about who? Gillie. Exactly. So Wack 100 pretty much just tricked his OG, his idol, his hero, as I said. So Birdman said, I thought they was fly, referring to Major Figgas. He had something with the little crew, but I never made $1 off of Gillie. When he be running around with all that capping, I never made no money off of you, Birdman continued to say. That's what Birdman doubled down on. And plus, he did something right there where he actually disrespected the whole Major Figgas. You know what I mean? Calling them a little crew. And I'm going to get into that. You know what I mean? Birdman doesn't necessarily know what's going on in other parts of the country. You know what I mean? We heard Gillie break down a story recently of how Birdman actually didn't even want to let Nelly go on tour with them. And it was actually Universal who had to push Cash Money into allowing that tour to happen. Fast forward a year later, Cash Money is asking to be on tour with Nelly, who had blown through the roof with success. Probably more success than any of the Cash Money artists at that point in time. And guys, I'll go as far to say that Nelly had more success than Juvenile. I'll go that far. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that as well, just to make that statement right off the rip. But let's talk about Gillie on Cash Money. Let's talk about it. Since we talked about the money, now let's talk about Gillie on Cash Money. I'll be real. Gillie wasn't a good fit on Cash Money. He wasn't. Birdman isn't capping. They didn't make any money off of that affiliation. He didn't even mention the group as Major Figgas. He called them a little crew. Look at the groups Birdman has actually dealt with, guys. You know, he's dealt with artists that are from groups that are icons today. You know what I'm saying? Look at the groups Birdman has worked with in the past. Birdman doesn't even want to say the Major Figgas names here. He doesn't even want to say it. He called them a little group. Birdman has the aura of a 5-star general. And again, Birdman is not from Philly. He doesn't realize the impact that Major Figgas had. You know what I mean? He's a rich dude in the music industry. He runs the South. He doesn't really care about what other regions do, y'all. He doesn't care about it. Birdman said he was in Philly. Birdman brought up one of the topics of conversation that honestly pisses Gillie off the most, and that's the issues with Beanie Sigel, and that's because they've repaired those issues that never should have been there in the first place. Some people say that Major Figgas were originally supposed to be state property, y'all. That's right. If major figures had fallen in line, there more than likely would not be a state property. I don't know if any other bloggers are talking to you about this shit because academics doesn't know about it. You know what I mean? I follow this to the core. You know what I'm saying? Birdman said he was in Philly. Birdman said, I ain't got no ill feelings for blood. I ain't tripping off of him or nothing, but he's putting all this false shit out. We was in Philly at a store and we was shopping, and Beanie comes in the store and grabbed him, walked him outside, and he had a blicky on him. We all had blickies on us, Birdman said. I got 100 people with me, but he brought him outside and whoop-de-whoop, he didn't do nothing, Birdman said. But I want to say this. So he walked out the store with him. First of all, nobody is going to pop off in the store. That's one. I don't care if the whole store, everyone in the store can have hammers. Nobody is popping off in the store. You're not disrespecting the store off a GP. They're going to go outside. Wait till you exit the mall. How about that? Ice grill each other on the escalators, whatever. That's what you're going to do if you actually want the smoke. If you don't want the smoke, you're going to stay in the store. And from what Birdman is explaining, Beanie Sigel walked him outside. You got to come with me. I told him what to do, and I actually instructed him what to do at my will and at my say-so. That man, he's doing what I say. He's following my commands. But everyone knows the story. Everyone knows the story. Did you hear how Gillie talked about Beanie Sigel on the radio? Did y'all hear about that? Beanie had to do something, even if it was in front of Birdman. Gillie went off on Beanie Sigel on the radio. Beanie Sigel had to do something. Beanie Sigel was probably like, I don't give a shit who was there. It had nothing to do with Birdman being there, or if Birdman was there, or if he was not there. That was not to impress Birdman, you guys. It was for people to be like, yo, Beans ran down on Gillie the Kid for talking that hot shit on the radio. And I'm just keeping it a buck with you guys. No other blogger's going to keep it a buck with you because they don't know. They didn't hear it. They didn't witness it. I'm being real with you. Anybody that didn't want the smoke would have stayed in the store and acted like a bitch. Gillie left the store. What does that tell you? You lost respect for the man because he left the store and went out to face the smoke? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Gillie took the walk with Beanie Sigel. Some people have that mentality like, let's go. Some people are like, yo, you want to go to Disney World? Let's go. Let's go. How about this? I got a rocket in my car. It goes boom. I might send you to Disney World by yourself. You can go there alone. I changed my mind. And I'll rocket ship you there, homie. How about that one? Gillie took the walk with Beanie Sigel, you guys. Let's not miss that fact. He took that walk. Birdman's homies didn't stick up for Gillie. That kind of irked me. But the thing is, you got to understand, they move when the 5-star general moves. At that point in Gillie's career, he didn't hold a high rank in Birdman's guys' eyes, y'all. You know what I mean? At that point in time, it's not like he was a core Hot Boys member. So them homies that Birdman is mentioning, how he had 100 homies in that store, they weren't moving for Gillie. They were moving when Birdman moves. They move when Birdman moves, y'all. And if they did something different, if they got out of protocol, Birdman would probably be like, you want to stick up for him? Then you can go get a beating with him. You know what I mean? Would you say some shit like that to Suge Knight? You know what I mean? Would you say that to Suge Knight? Then it's like, okay, then you can go get a beating with him since you like him so much, since that's your man's. Would you say to Suge Knight, hey man, hey Suge, don't kick Daz out of Dog Pound? Like who the fuck are you? Who asked you? I might never drop another Dog Pound album for the rest of my life. You can't go. My point is, you can't say certain shit to people. You know what I mean? The guys that be like, yo, sir, this is a no smoking section, but I understand who you are. I know it's a non-smoking section, but I know who you are. You can smoke. That's like the certain treatment that some people get. You know what I mean? You don't want nobody getting shot over a non-smoking section is all I'm saying, guys, cuz he's lighting up a cigar everywhere he goes. He doesn't care. That alone lets you know this person has no consideration for the general public. Lighting up everywhere he goes. He's just smoking a cigar and it's stinking up the entire room. A cigar is like the only thing that smells stronger than weed. It's like, the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Then it's like, oh shit. You see the big dude smoking a cigar. You know who we're talking about? Wack 100's hero. You know what I mean? Baby, you should have did an interview with Birdman, you should have did an interview with Suge Knight on the phone. How about that? Wack 100's other hero. That's what you should have did. So there was another portion of this clip where Birdman actually talked about the allegations of Gillie writing for Lil Wayne. You knew he was going to have to mention that because that's been the rumor for like a couple decades. Yeah, it's been the rumor for like 2 decades now that Gillie was writing for Wayne. And Birdman said he for sure never wrote one rhyme for Moolah. So right there, basically, Birdman is dispelling the whole thing that Gillie the Kid wrote for Lil Wayne. He's dispelling that. He's dispelling the fact that they owe him bread. You heard me, guys? Don't worry if I write rhymes. I write checks. Y'all see what I did there? That is a rhyme. So you didn't write one rhyme for me? Listen, y'all, that's a P. Diddy bar. See what I did there? Don't worry if I write rhymes. I write checks. Best rhyme Diddy ever had in his career, to be real with y'all. Best rhyme Diddy ever had written by someone else. Basically, you didn't write no rhymes, is what Birdman is saying. You didn't write a single rhyme. But I want to be real about this. You want to say all that? I'll say this. Jay-Z didn't come looking for Gillie the Kid because he was writing for Lil Wayne. I'm going to say this. Gillie the Kid is not hot because of the assumption that he wrote lyrics for Lil Wayne. And that's the truth. He exists outside of that. Everybody in here hit that like button, share this video one time. If Gillie wasn't hot, he wouldn't have been around you, Birdman. He wouldn't have been around you. Think about it. You wanted everyone that was hot surrounding you. If he was whack, he wouldn't have been around. So that's how I know he was hot at a certain point. Gillie responded to Birdman. Gillie went off today. Gil was actually enjoying his wife's birthday. You know what I mean? Him and his wife were enjoying her birthday. having a great time, sipping champagne for all the times that they was thirsty, all that good shit. Gillie's living the good life right now. He's not capping when he's saying he's doing better than Birdman right now. Right now, it's Gillie the Kid's time to shine. You know what I mean? I'm not going to talk about pre-existing wealth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting into that. But right now, Gillie the Kid is more relevant than Birdman. Lil Wayne has distanced himself from Birdman. You know what I mean? I understand Birdman was defending Drake a few days ago. I was even going to do a video about that. But honestly, I feel like Drake's existence with Cash Money is no longer what it was. You know what I mean? That I can't take away from the history. I do feel like Birdman and Wayne had a couple of the best artists to ever come out. But Birdman has not kept up on his end of his end of things. The Khaled album was a flop. We never got a Busta Rhymes album. You know what I'm saying? The man signed Limp Bizkit out of nowhere. They never dropped an album. The dude tried to sign Bow Wow at a certain point. He signed the dude Choppa City from making the band. You know what I'm saying? This guy signed Mystical at one point. There's so many projects that Birdman put on Cash Money that never actually ended up coming out. You know what I'm saying? I could actually do a whole series about the projects. I could do like the top 20 Birdman projects that never came out. You know what I mean? I could do like a whole podcast with Gillie the Kid, just examining all of these projects. And then if Gillie put that out, it would probably do 1 million views per episode. We'd get a podcast deal about the mistakes of Brian Williams. You know what I'm saying? Like, please don't make me dig in. Because when these dudes try to go at my OG Gillie, I got to course correct them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking away anything of Birdman's achievements from when he lost his whole roster to the point when Lil Wayne helped him build it back up. And then Lil Wayne took the roster away again. It's the history that we all lived through. In all fairness, listen, Gillie responded to Birdman. So Gillie was reading something. Gillie was reading on his Instagram DM. Gillie, what's up with Beanie smacking you? Gillie said, come on, man. Y'all don't believe that. Cut it out. You just wanted something to say. That's all. My whole thing is why Birdman waited so long to say something. I can't even respond when you say something 25 years later. What are we talking about, man? You only responded because you don't hear the roar of the crowd no more. And I just want to point this out too. You know what I mean? In all fairness, Birdman only responded because he was actually asked. And look who asked him. Look who asked him conveniently. Who asked him this question 25 years later? Who asked him this irrelevant shit? An irrelevant blood. Right. Wack 100. So that says everything right there, you guys. Nobody else. Not one other person. He couldn't wait to discredit Gillie's name. And also, look at the timing. Why now? You got to ask yourself, really? Y'all are ganging up on this man? Like, seriously? Like, why are y'all jumping somebody? Shoot a fair one. Let him respond to one coward first. Thice, Hassan, Papi. He responded to Thizon already. Give him some time. Stop hogging his nuts. You hear what I'm saying, Wack? Stop hogging his nuts all at the same time. Jesus. They're all just dying for attention. They all just want it now. You know what I mean? He might give it to you. Gillie might give it to you, but he'll give it to you at his leisure. If you're even worth being responded to, because you don't have to respond to everybody that says your name. It's not mandatory. And it took 25 years because nobody was actually thinking about that. The same way nobody is thinking about boxing bar, except for who? Nobody's thinking about that except for who? What's the name of Pacoima's finest? Nobody was thinking about this cold, irrelevant shit except for old heads like Wack 100. So Gillie's saying it took 25 years. Yeah, it took 25 years because it just takes one fuck boy to bring it up, Gil, just to be real with you. And they bring it up and it does hits. And Gillie isn't even addressing Wack 100. He's not. On this, he's not addressing Wack 100 because Dolges don't get addressed. He's talking to the 5-star general. Did he have anything to say to Mr. Instigator, Wack 100? He's not even addressing Wack 100's Dolja ass. Doljas don't get addressed. And again, I said it. He's talking to the 5-star general, Birdman here. So he doesn't need to talk to you, Wack. First of all, you were Suge's Dolja. We all know that. So what are you even talking about? How about you just get off a clubhouse because you're too old to be arguing with kids there, anyways, man. You look like a weirdo doing that. You don't even know how to monetize your own content properly. You had a conversation with Birdman and you did it on Clubhouse. You have a podcast with Adam22 and you leaked some shit with Birdman on Clubhouse. You are extremely whack. Listen to this. So Gillie said, you want to know what's so crazy? You want to know what's so crazy? I'm bigger than Baby. Ain't that crazy? I'm bigger than him right now. It's a good question. That's a good question, and that's why I put it up in a poll. The poll was, who's more relevant? Y'all can tell me what you think in the chat as well. I've put A for Gillie the Kid, B for a Birdman. Those are the options. Who's more relevant, A or B? Some people are going to say Gillie's hot right now. Gillie's more relevant. But let's play devil's advocate. Meaning, guys, Gillie didn't sign Nicki Minaj or Drake. I'm about to go off here, y'all. I'm about to go off here. I'm about to go off here, you guys. Gillie has Wallow. You know what I mean? Gillie has Wallow. Gillie did all kinds of things in his career as far as getting major figures a deal. They passed up on the Jay-Z deal, ended up signing with Warner Brothers. Didn't necessarily work out over there because of the fact that they didn't let them record a new album. They put out a mixtape as their album. Thought they could jump start and get some success off of that. Then Major Figures went over to Cash Money after having turned down Jay-Z. So now they signed with another dude who has become legitimately nearly a billionaire or put together a billionaire company. No, it didn't really work out with Major Figures from a group standpoint or a solo standpoint from Gillie the Kid. Gillie also signed with Suave House on a solo deal. So let's not discount some of the things that have happened for him in his career. He also did a movie deal and you know what I mean? He actually signed another album deal or a record label deal to help this Relume Records, formerly known as Religion Records. You know what I'm saying? He did quite a bit, man. He did quite a bit before launching $1 million worth of game based on his online popularity. But we can't discount what Birdman has done from getting into the game in the early years of Cash Money and actually selling units independently, basically realizing the market that he had in where he lived, you know what I mean? New Orleans and shit. basically realizing the market that Louisiana was and generating that into like going because like I said before, you got to be a local legend before you're a worldwide legend. Birdman would go on to get a 90-10 split with Universal Records, Hot Boys, Juvenile, you know what I mean, BG, all major successes. Then Lil Wayne became such a major talent. Yeah, you know what I mean? So yeah, Gillie has Wallow, you know what I mean? Wallow is a major multi-millionaire at this point who's just growing every day. You know what I'm saying? Gillie and Wallow didn't really do their thing with the record label though. Um they didn't really do much with $1 million worth of game records. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, Cheese. Mac and Cheese started to get a good push. New York, LA, Gillie's daughter, she's doing monumental things right now. You know what I mean? But he doesn't really have a label set in place, which he should. I told him, like, Gil, I should be the A&R. I don't know why he doesn't listen to me on that one. You know what I mean? He responds to me. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be saying he's on the internet. Or, I mean, he's curving me when I'm texting him or trying to call him or anything like that. But the man's counting a lot of money. Just know, homie, I'm here to help. So let me ask y'all, what was Birdman's last hit? Stream wise and numbers, it would be a crazy comparison if you look up the Spotify streams and compare the music to the actual podcast streams. That would be the comparison you would want to do. Birdman's numbers probably the man has a plaque for 1 billion streams. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't take the music accomplishments away from Birdman. But Gillie, Wallow, and $1 million worth of game, you can't take that away either. They've been doing the biggest podcast, and a lot of people are looking at it without a doubt like it's top 3. It's a lot of people's top 1, and y'all know who the other 2 are. And then look at Birdman's last artist, Jacquees. Birdman's last artist, Jacquees. Many people never figured out who he was. You know what I mean? It was some R&B shit. Birdman tried something different. You know what I'm saying? He actually missed out on the chance to sign Young Thug. He kind of soured his relationship with Lil Wayne a little bit more over Young Thug. As I said a little bit earlier, he never dropped the Busta Rhymes album. You know what I mean? Look at the flip side. Gillie didn't take the $1 million deal that 50 Cent had got him offered by Interscope. You know what I mean? I'm going to look at things from both perspectives, you guys. I remember all of the history. You know what I mean? 50 actually brought Gillie to Interscope Records, y'all. Gillie ended up signing with Koch. Like, let's just be real. I know Gil regrets that shit. You know what I mean? Because honestly, look at 50. Look at 50. If Gillie stuck by him, he would have been out of here. Come on, let's just be real. I'm not on here to cap, y'all. He would have owned New Amsterdam vodka instead of getting sponsored by it. You know how many records he would have sold? You know what I'm saying? If he was ghostwriting for Lil Wayne, I'd have to assume he could do it for 50. I mean, guys, come on. He figured it out with podcasting. He figured it out with podcasting, man. Nori, successful rapper, successful podcast. Gillie, not so successful with music, but majorly successful with podcasting. Joe Budden, one hit wonder, pump it up, better fit for podcasting, and also very successful with it. A trendsetter to a certain extent, you guys. In my opinion, everyone's going to have their own opinion. Some people will say Nori as the best. Some people will say Joe Budden as the best. In my opinion, Gillie and Wallow have the best podcast. Nori, he has the best personality for podcasting. I feel like it's just something that he needed to be doing. I could tell that after meeting him a few times. If you've ever been around Nori, you just know he has like this energy about him. You know what I mean? It's like it's like the same thing Fat Joe, you know what I mean, has. It's like the same thing Fat Joe has. It's a quality. You know what I mean? It's a storytelling quality. People just want to listen to you tell stories. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what happened that time with you and so and so? And people actually get a kick out of the way someone like Nori tells the story. Someone like Joe, the way they just tell the story, you get a kick about it, hearing it from their perspective. You know what I mean? Certain people have the ability to do that, you know? So Gillie said, I generate more money than him right now. They counted me out. I'm bigger than you. Nobody gives a fuck about you. I'm bigger than you. And this is actually the part where I'm going to exclude myself out of this debate. You know what I'm saying? No comment. No comment. I don't know. Come on. We're talking about Birdman money. We're talking about Birdman money here, you guys. I'm going to stay neutral on this one. Doesn't Birdman own like oil companies and shit like that? I don't think y'all understand how long his money is. Like, even if he never raps again, trust me, he's touching silent and quiet money. There's $10 million on his earlobe. Look at it. Ask him how many carats? Maybe how many carats on the earlobe, man? Let's not be silly right now, man. You could honestly cut a glass table with that VVS clarity in his earring. So, this whole debate with the money thing, I'm not doing that one. I'm not getting involved with that. Y'all can think what y'all want. You can tell me who you think has more bread. Y'all can do that. Y'all can talk about it. Who has more bread, the 5-star stunner or $1 million worth of game? Birdman has $1 million worth of Gucci underwear. Respectfully. I'm just saying, with all due respect. With all due respect. So Gillie went off. You counted me out, and I'm bigger than you. What is you talking about? You counted me out. You're talking about some shit 25 years later. I called you a bitch ass for 25 years. 25 years later, you respond, sit your bitch ass down somewhere. I don't want to hear that. Talking about I ain't like that. Why did it take you 25 years to say that? It took him 25 years to get some heart to say I ain't like that. I've been calling you a bitch for 25 years, you coward. Everyone that came into the game with you, you owe money to. You're a coward. Nobody cares about you no more. You're old news. You're old news. Brrr, brrr. Gillie went off on him right there. You're old news. All right. So if we're going to talk about Birdman being old news, Birdman actually got caught up with the whole Lil Wayne situation when Lil Wayne ended up suing Birdman for $51 million. Now, Birdman went on many interviews and said that he would have no problem paying Lil Wayne back. You know what I'm saying? No problem paying Lil Wayne back the $51 million. I just don't think Birdman understood one thing, guys. I don't think that Birdman understood that once he was paid that money back, he was going to lose the entirety of his relationship with Lil Wayne. Meaning he was no longer going to have the most successful artist that was attached to his label. I gotta believe this is why at a certain point in time, Birdman was signing all of these artists, looking to find the next big thing. At a certain point in time, he attached himself to Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug. I think he should have signed them as a duo. At a certain point in time, he even went up to the East Coast and tried to attach himself to Uncle Murda and Mano. Tried to attach himself to AR Rab. The man tried to do several different things. Like I said, he tried to put on an R&B talent by the name of Jacquees, who just about got there. I want to say Jacquees' lifestyle has changed to a large degree. You know what I mean? Birdman missed out on the opportunity to sign Rollo. Not saying that would have really went anywhere. Birdman kind of seemed like he pulled back on a few of those deals to me. You know what I mean? The DJ Khaled project was really the only one that he dropped out of all of those albums. I Changed a Lot, which sold like 9,000 copies first week. It was a real underwhelming performance for DJ Khaled, who signed to Cash Money out of nowhere. It was like a bad move for DJ Khaled. It was even mentioned on Rick Ross's diss song to Birdman. So Gillie basically is gloating about the fact that he's bigger than Cash Money at this point in time. You know, Birdman has always had an issue with realizing a talent, y'all. He's always had an issue with realizing a talent beforehand. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the fact that Birdman had Kanye West in his studio. Birdman had Kanye West in his studio prior to all of his success, prior to all of the millions that he made, early millions. You know, college dropout went through the roof, sold like 400,000. Late registration followed that up, sold like 830,000, trumped Tony Yayo's album. And then Graduation destroyed Curtis, sold 950,000. Kanye West had a major ascent in the game, you know. So Birdman missed out on the opportunity to sign him. Birdman had Gillie the Kid there, mistreated him to the point where 50 Cent was about to take him and get another deal. It's like, yo, this guy came from Jay-Z. This guy came from Jay-Z. And then after you, 50 Cent was there. Like you gotta be just something else to fuck up that money. But we all know what happened. You know what I mean? Cash Money kind of turned into a label that was sort of like Murder Inc., where they were only releasing Lil Wayne albums. You know what I mean? And then everything kind of got messed up. They even botched Tyga's third album. You know what I mean? Tyga got two albums. And then his third album, the Gold album, the album when he started dating one of the Kardashians, got leaked. And it's like, wow, what have you been working for? Then they took Tyga off of Truffle Butter with Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, and Drake. And it's like, what do you not understand? Like, do you not understand about the fact that you have to create more artists, or else you're gonna do the Irv Gotti mistake? Like, okay, you got the female, you got Nicki, you got Drake, the sensation. You know what I mean? Obviously, if he's a sensation, he's about to be off your label in a minute. Then you have Wayne. So now, why didn't you make room for Tyga? You had this dude who you gave all these massive singles, and then you just dropped the ball on the man's third album, the one that was really supposed to shoot him through the roof. The dude was on like the Kardashian TV show and shit like that on the E News channel. This was legitimately the first rapper who took it from being on BET, MTV, VH1, and he put himself on the E News channel, man. Birdman couldn't take advantage of that. Don't make me bring up a whole list of his whole roster to see all the people that he disrespected. You had Gillie in the Hey Go DJ music video. How do you miss the opportunity to put Gillie the Kid out, and you're on the internet talking about you never made no money off of Gillie the Kid? Yeah, we know you didn't make no money off of Gillie the Kid. You never put him out. You held him up. You jammed him up. You stalled his career out when he was in his prime. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of these rappers do. They stall artists' career up when they're in their prime, and it's complete bullshit. Don't talk to me about you didn't make no money with Gillie the Kid. That's your problem. That's your problem that you withheld all of that shit from us. Guy had an opportunity. Don't you realize how fitting Major Figgas would have been with Cash Money? Those names even fit together. But if it was going to be a solo situation, look at the deal that Gillie was signed to before that. Oh, shit. Good thing that didn't come with Suave House. Let's see who Gillie was signed beside. Gillie was signed to this dope ass group, Suave House Entertainment, alongside 8 Ball and MJG, Jazzy Faye. You know what I'm saying? Rick Ross was on the label. That was kind of funny. I actually talked to Gillie about that one time. But let's get right into it, you guys, because Birdman said a lot. But let's first talk about how Wack 100, hell, why is Wack 100 conveniently involved in this? Ask yourself, out of all the people, why is Wack 100 involved in this? He's back to his antics, stirring up bullshit. Why? Because that's what he does best. As a matter of fact, that's all he can do. I even seen DJ Vlad talking about him this week. They asked Bomb First asked Vlad, "Yo, why have you not done an interview with Wack 100? Why have you not done an interview with Wack 100?" Because Wack 100 tried to pull some corny, foul shit with DJ Vlad. Yeah, you tried to pull some corny shit with Vlad. You tried to get up in Vlad's face for doing what he does. That's corny, Wack. And one day I'm going to expose Wack 100 for my altercation with him. I'm going to expose Wack 100 for my altercation with him. If y'all want to hear about what happened when I ran and came face to face with Wack 100, when me and Wack 100 came to blows. If you want to hear what happened on that story, we'll talk about that. But let's get right into this, man. Let's get right into it. Wack 100 finally got his hero, Birdman, to pick up his phone call. And you know how many times Wack 100 tried to call Birdman and he just wouldn't pick up the call? Wack, why don't you get it? Your business with Birdman is over. You failed at Cash Money West. Cash Money West was a failure. Do you know how I know Cash Money West was a failure? I don't need to go on DJ Vlad to explain how Cash Money West was a failure. If anybody in the chat knows, let me know. Hit that like button if you're in here and make sure you drop your city and state. And let me know, why was Cash Money West a failure? So, guys, after Blueface had his biggest single, Tatiana, Wack 100 should have positioned at Cash Money West should have been solidified. Blueface should have been the first artist of Cash Money West. It made sense. It made absolute sense for Blueface to have been the face of Cash Money West. Put Young Thug or Lil Wayne on Tatiana remix. But you want to know what? Wack 100 went to Birdman and he said, "Yo, this record is moving. We want to release it on E1. You're Cash Money West, but you want to release your album on E1? You make no sense. You're backwards. You think you know business, but you don't even know business. I wouldn't even have cared if you went to Ghazi with that from Empire. Unless Ghazi was doing distribution for Cash Money West. Why didn't you hook that up, Wack? You ain't thinking on your feet. You're not smart. Who the hell in their right mind would have took Blueface, busted down Tatiana, that Tatiana record, and put it on E1? You wanted to make some quick bucks. You had a single to start Cash Money West, your imprint that doesn't exist now. Birdman is your hero that'll never pick up a phone call for you. Some people are going to be like, yo, Mikey T, what do you mean that's his hero? Listen to me. Birdman is a real blood. So Wack 100 feels like if people see that he messes with real bloods, Wack 100 people will think that he's a real blood, you guys. So Birdman's first thought is that Gillie's coming at him about money. Listen, I've been around Gillie, not just in Philly. I was around Gillie in Miami when Gillie would go out there every single year when it was popping during Memorial Weekend. I don't know if it's still popping out there during Memorial Weekend that Gil be running out there and shit. At a certain point in time, everybody went from Miami to Atlanta, just to be real. That's what happened. But Gil, if it's still going down in Miami Memorial Weekend, let's go turn it up, man. You know, we'll hit all the clubs. Live, KOD, cameos, story. You know what I'm saying? We'll hit all the dope ass clubs because Gil did it before it was popping, actually, or when it was really popping, and all the rappers would go out there. You know, before it got too oversaturated, is what I want to say. Gil was out there doing his blogs. I know because I was out there filming everybody in Miami when the shit was going on. And it was really easy to connect with artists back then. Now it's more commercialized. Now they got so many commercialized events going down for like Art Basel weekend and shit like that. It's just so commercial. You know what I mean? I like to keep shit underground, man. Just to be real, I like to keep the shit underground, man. But it is what it is. Sometimes you got to adapt. You know what I mean? You got to adapt to the way that things work. You know what I'm saying? I just always looked at myself in a certain way. You know what I mean? But you know, sometimes you got to put the suit and tie on. You know what I mean? You got to do the Jay-Z shit. These guys like Game and 50 Cent was wearing the suit and tie the first time that they got the chance to go to the VMAs. When I watched that, I was kind of shocked by it. I was like, damn, 50 suiting up like that. And then a couple years later, when the Game did the documentary, he suited up just as well. But Birdman said, I never made a dollar off of Gillie. Not $1. I never put a record out with Gillie, Birdman said. Listen, nobody said nothing about money, homie. See, right away, Birdman jumps to conclusions. Like, if he's talking about me, he's got to be talking about money. That's why Birdman ran up there and went all the way off on Charlemagne and the Breakfast Club. And he was talking all that shit. You know what I mean? Because just over the course of years, over the course of a decade, 2 decades, you know what I mean? They're talking about Birdman. They're talking about the issues that Birdman has had with various artists. I mean, Juvenile left the label. Uh, you know what I'm saying? He left the label after Back That Ass Up was a major success. BG came home and signed with Koch. You know what I mean? I think BG was one of the first people actually over at Koch. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. We're not doing a Koch remembrance video right now or anything like that, but I want to say BG taking the Chopper City independent label over there is one of the first things that legitimized Koch Records. You know, I thought that was a good fit. BG loved putting out music. I don't think the machine of Cash Money could really facilitate his music releases at that point. BG wanted to release 2, 3 albums a year, it seemed to me. Dude's out of jail now. He said he wanted to release like 10. Welcome home, BG. I always appreciate you for doing that interview with me and being such a real one when I got the opportunity to meet you in the studio. Dude gave me one of the biggest blunts, you know what I mean, I've ever smoked in my life. Um, he just didn't seem all too interested in the blunt, you know what I mean? I guess he was going in the studio to record actually. So he handed me the blunt. I actually witnessed him writing his whole bars. Like this dude actually had a notepad. He wrote in cursive. You know what I mean? It was kind of crazy. I actually filmed the whole experience being in the studio with BG. It was pretty amazing. I'm not going to lie, just getting the opportunity to be around BG for those few hours because I had filmed him in a studio session. And prior to that, I had filmed some behind the scenes of him doing an exclusive interview at Hip Hop Weekly, which was dope, just getting a chance to follow BG around a little bit. You know what I mean? And this is obviously before he got locked up the first time. So it was really prime BG. You know what I mean? That dude right there, he got locked up when he was 29 years old, you guys. Got locked up for 14 years. You realize he missed the better part when, he was going through being the prime of his life. You know what I mean? Like as males, I feel like we're in the prime of our lives in our mid 30s. BG lost all of that. You know what I mean? And I wish him nothing but more success than he could have ever wished to attain. You know what I mean? I'm really hoping everything goes well. I'm talking about a lot of the Cash Money projects today that didn't see the light of day. Look at what happened with Mystical when he came home, and he even had the feature with Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about how the Lil Wayne feature, sometimes the Lil Wayne feature is not going to work. You know what I mean? Lil Wayne feature is not going to work every time. Hell, Ja Rule tried to come back with a Lil Wayne feature. Didn't work for my homie Ja Rule. You know what I'm saying? Didn't work for Rule. Doesn't work for everyone. Worked for 2 Chainz. Put 2 Chainz on the map. That's for damn sure. Play a circle and all that. You know what I mean? But listen, there was seriously, man, Gillie, you're my boy, Gil, but don't do the money thing with Birdman. Don't do the money stuff with Birdman. He's loaded, G's. You know what I mean? It's like you can win, Gil, in another way. Remember, Birdman's been getting money for a long time. A long, long time, G's. Now, Gillie right now, getting into the prime of his career. You know what I mean? But my whole thing is this. My whole thing is this, you guys. Why does everyone think they can wait until Gillie's son passed away to actually come at him all crazy? Why come at Gillie like this when he's at a vulnerable state? Like, why do they have to attack him right now? That's what pisses me off. And it's making me think, like, what kind of coward shit is that? Like, I'll be real with you. They wait until he's at this point of his life. That's coward shit to me, man. Even if Wack 100 was planning on doing that with Birdman the whole time, with everything that Gil's going through right now, just the fact that you two had a relationship, you should have put that to the side. It's embarrassing that you would talk to Birdman about Gillie the Kid, especially with what he's going through right now. You should be embarrassed as a man. All right, you don't want to be embarrassed as a man? You should be embarrassed as a content creator because that's embarrassing for the culture. That's embarrassing for hip hop as a whole, music and entertainment as a whole, that you would have to stoop to that level for content when Adam 22 blessed you, saved you. He saved you from obscurity. He saved you from internet rumor because that's all you are is internet rumor and gossip, clubhouse banter. That's all you are. Adam 22 saved you from obscurity. And you get an opportunity to really take your podcast that's called Adam and Wack somewhere, and you waste your podcast on doing a video about Gillie the Kid, who is legitimately someone that has given you an arm, somebody that's given you a leg up. even though you said some bullshit about having him in your back pocket? You know what I'm saying? The man's had you on his podcast on multiple occasions. I'm pretty sure he had your bullshit artist Blueface on there as well. Yeah, Blueface, I'm sorry. I'm going to call you a bullshit artist until you get shit right with your management. How do you go from being Cash Money West to E1? It makes no sense. Make it make sense for me. You wanted to capitalize on the bread while downplaying your major Cash Money record release single? It makes no sense. That's why you're a nobody right now. That's why you're a nobody right now who doesn't even have security to protect him out when he's getting inside, when he's getting into scuffles outside of nightclubs. It's embarrassing. It's because of the management that you choose. You know what I'm saying? It's because of the company that you keep. You could have been a top notch solidified artist even though your flow sucks. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You could have been a solidified artist even though your flow sucks, man. Instead, you are more independent than Trinidad James, homie. That's crazy. Your career got messed up, but it's because of the choices that you make. You're on here, Wack 100, talking about Gillie on Clubhouse. I'm just wondering why the hell is Birdman even on Clubhouse? Birdman, why are you even on there? Why are you even on there? They would have to pay me to get me to go on Clubhouse. And Birdman, you're going on there? I bet you regret picking up that phone call because now you got problems. Now you got problems, man, because Gillie's going off on you. Then Whack 100 wastes an interview with Birdman to talk about this. People can talk about all they want. Oh, he's asking Birdman street questions that never got asked before. Are you kidding me right now, man? You get the opportunity to talk with Birdman and you're talking with him about the Gillie the Kid beef from 25 years ago, 20 years ago. That's just like how Whack 100 wants to talk about Boxing Bar and Mano. There's updated stories, or in Gillie's word, there's some updated work to talk about. Now you're going to make, as Gillie says, now you're going to make Gillie update his work on you, Birdman. Cassidy got it. Cassidy's my guy. Cassidy's my guy, but he just can't let that shit go about Gillie being the king. You know, there's a difference between like, you got like the king, you got like the president, you got like the emperor, which is above all that shit. You know what I mean? There's levels to this shit, man. I just don't see why people, you know what I mean? You just live and let live, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta disrespect somebody on the internet like when Gillie the Kid got disrespected by Rick Ross and Rick Ross walked into that smoke. Ross didn't even know he was walking into that smoke, man. Ross ain't even vaping no more after that beef. I'll be real with you guys. Ross is done after that one, man. Wiz Khalifa, you know what I mean? I'll give respect to Wiz because Wiz actually, even though Wiz kind of took that kind of strange, you know what I mean? Like damn, Wiz, like really, you're gonna overreact like that? I'll give it to Wiz because Wiz is one of the real ones who actually came back, and him and Gillie, it seems like they're good now. You know what I mean? Wiz is, you know, I like when somebody's not too much of they're not too like conceited to actually go and mend an issue, you know. So I'm glad that Gillie and Wiz did that because to me it just made no sense. Gillie and Wiz started off the year doing the push-ups. Wiz is one of the people who actually is a celebrity that supports Gillie the Kid. So it made absolutely no sense to me, man. Just being somebody that follows, you know, these guys on a, you know, frequent basis, you know what I mean? Outside of just all their musical releases, like Wiz does. Wiz was doing some of the most interesting stuff on the internet with his day. What was it called back in the day? Was it Day by Days? or his day vlogs that he was doing. Wiz was very innovative with that. You know what I mean? So, so Birdman said that he thought that they was fly. He had something with the little crew, but I never made a dollar off of Gillie when he be running around with all that capping. I never made no money off of you, and you're not like that. So he kind of took a shot right there with "you're not like that," because Birdman would go on to say that they were all blickied up in the store, and Beanie Sigel came in and dragged Gillie out, and whoop de whoop happened. Now, when somebody says whoop de whoop happened, you know, you know what that means. But I just want to point out, man, you want to talk about all this money that wasn't made. Gillie wasn't a good fit on Cash Money. Gillie was not a good fit on Cash Money. You know what I mean? Even though the name sounded cool, Major Figures, Cash Money, even though Wallow realistically did kind of model Major Figures to be a little bit different than what the New York groups were, to be kind of like what the flamboyant money, throwing their money everywhere, them groups were like from the South. I really think that was a good mixture. You know what I'm saying? But Gillie, as a solo artist, was not like any of the other people that, Cash Money had ever put out. Gillie wasn't a good fit on Cash Money, and Birdman isn't capping. He's not. They didn't make money off of the affiliation. You know what I mean? They never put anything out together, with the exception of a soundtrack, I believe. Cash Money might have did the Undisputed movie soundtrack. So that was actually a Vin Rames and Wesley Snipes movie. So they got a little bit of money together, but I'm not even sure if that's during their affiliation or if it's really what bridged them together. I didn't get to speak with Gillie about that one right there. You know what I mean? I didn't get to speak with Gillie about that one right there. Gillie's gone off to do amazing things with his career and shit like that. But Birdman irked me here too when he didn't even mention the group as Major Figures. Like, I did not like that whatsoever. He called them a little crew. He said, "Yeah, the little crew. The little crew. You want to call them that? Look at the groups that Birdman has dealt with, though. A lot of the people are icons today. You know what I mean? They're legends. Birdman, for some reason, doesn't want to say their name. He called them a little group. You know what I'm saying? Birdman, with his aura of a 5-star general, that's what he's got. But Birdman, he's just not from Philly, y'all. He doesn't realize the impact they've had over the years, the impact that they have on people to this day. He's a rich dude in the music industry. He's pretty much been that way, since Gillie was grinding to get a deal. Realistically, I was talking about the Universal situation that he got himself involved with. Somebody let me know, was there actually an East Coast artist that Birdman would go on to put out an album from? You know what I mean? I know he went on to sign some dudes from the West Coast. You know what I mean? There was always talk of him actually doing some work with The Game. The one East Coast signing that I know that he wanted to do was Mano and Uncle Murda after they made some noise. You know what I mean? After they made some noise by doing a couple collaborative projects. I found that interesting. You know what I mean? Like, wow. So more in the sense that they found a way to get distribution for their project. Birdman let it all out though, and I don't like this because it's like, yo, man, why are you spilling all the beans like this to Wack 100? Like, why are you giving all this to Wack 100 on Clubhouse? Why is this not something that's on Netflix? Why is this not something that's on Hulu? Why is this not something that is on a YouTube Premium? You know what I'm saying? You are blowing your whole opportunity here, Wack 100. You blew your whole opportunity because you gave it to the world for free. Yep, exactly, Mike. Signed Busta Rhymes, but no album. This is what I'm talking about. He went sign happy. He went sign happy, you guys. He started signing everybody. The guy signed Limp Bizkit. The guy signed Choppa from Making the Band. You know what I mean? The guy signed who else did he sign? Please, I don't even really want to go. Who did he sign? Kevin Rudolph. They actually got an album off with him, though. I'll give him respect for that. So listen to this. Listen to this. Sorry, guys. DJ Khaled, 9,000 albums sold. We the best. Really? With your 9,000 albums sold? Then he signs to Jay-Z. Jay-Z gets him a good deal, and he does the whole Major Key alert, and he sells like 90,000 copies first week. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, Birdman. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You signed Mystical, put him on a song with Lil Wayne, and it went nowhere. Why did you even sign him in the first place? He was no limit. You were really reaching with that. So listen to this. Birdman said, I ain't got no ill feelings for Blood, referring to Gillie. I ain't tripping off of him or nothing, but he's putting all this false shit out. We was in Philly at a store and we was shopping, Birdman said. And Beanie comes in the store and grabbed him, walked him outside, and he had a blicky on him. We all got blickies on us. I got 100 people with me, but he brought him outside and whoop-de-whoop. He didn't do nothing. Let me put this out there. First of all, nobody is going to pop off in the store. That's one. I don't care if the whole store has got hammers. Everybody in the store can have hammers. Nobody is popping off in the store. You get me? You're not disrespecting the store off GP. They're going to go outside. You hear me? Wait till you exit the mall, that type of shit. Ice grilling each other on the escalator, that type of vibe. That's what you're going to do if you actually want the smoke. Now, if you don't want the smoke, you're going to stay in the store. And from what Birdman is explaining, Beanie Sigel walked him out. He walked him outside. From the way he's making it seem, Beanie Sigel was like, Gillie, you got to come with me. He's making it seem like Beanie Sigel was like, I told him what to do, and I instructed him of what to do. I instructed him at my will, at my say-so. He is following my commands. But y'all, everyone knows this story. Everyone knows this story, but my question is, did you hear how Gillie talked to Beanie Sigel on the radio? Did y'all hear that? Because after that, the reality is Beanie Sigel had to do something. Beanie Sigel had to do something, even if it was in front of Birdman, the guy who had just given Gillie the Kid an opportunity of a lifetime. Didn't really pan out, but it seemed like it. You know what I mean? Hot Boys, Juvenile, BG in the streets. These guys could do it in the clubs and the streets. You would have thought it was a good place for Gillie. You know what I'm saying? If you heard what Gillie talked about Beanie Sigel on the radio, you would have known that Beanie had to do something. Beanie was like, I don't give a shit who's there. Honestly, you guys, it had nothing to do with Birdman being there. Didn't matter if he was there or not. It was not to impress Birdman. Let's clear that up. It wasn't to impress Birdman. It was for people to actually be like, yo, do y'all see what Beans did after that radio station stunt from Gillie? Y'all see Beans ran down on him for talking all that hot shit on the radio? Let it be known the Broad Street Bully ain't to be played with. That's what that was about. That's what that was about, you guys. Gillie took that walk with Beanie, though. Gillie took the walk with Beanie. Some people just have that mentality. Like, let's go. Let's do this. You want to go to Disney World? Let's go. I got a rocket in my car, homie. I got a rocket in my car. It goes boom. Shit, I might send you to Disney World. You can go there by yourself. I changed my mind. I'm just going to rocket boom your ass to Disney World. Let me get my charger. Shit's like 5%. Birdman's homies didn't stick up for Gillie. This guy's talking about he had 100 people in here. Got 100 guns, 100 clips. Birdman's homies didn't stick up for Gillie. You know, I was a little bit tight about that. You know what I'm saying? But you got to think rationally. You know what I mean? They didn't stick up for Gillie. That irked me. Like, come on. If you're there with 100 goons and this dude walks in there trying to press your next upcoming artist, honestly, man, I would expect all those goons to just push Beanie Sigel out of the store. But you got to think about it rationally, you guys. Those goons aren't going to move unless the 5-star general moves, y'all. They're not moving unless Birdman moves. At this point in Gillie's career, he didn't really hold that type of rank. You know what I mean? I'm sure if it was BG, I'm sure if it was Juvenile, I'm sure if it was Wheezy, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure if it was any of those guys that these people actually knew compared to somebody that the label was actually courting at that point or affiliated with at that point or loosely affiliated, however you want to, you know what I mean, look at the situation that they were involved in. It honestly couldn't have been that tight because this situation right here seems to be the one that ended the ties with Cash Money. After Birdman saw what happened and Gillie didn't hold it down in Birdman's eyes, he disregarded his whole relationship with Gillie. You know what I mean? So I just really can sympathize with the situation in that regard to where a lot of these people are going to be like, if this situation happened like that, let them go out and handle it. But I don't know why Birdman would look down on Gillie the Kid for exiting the building with Beanie Sigel to handle his business, is all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I don't get why he would look down on him for that. So Birdman said, Bird Sanford's got a point right there. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got New Orleans in the building. Salute my guy. So basically, we're gonna talk about the Lil Wayne, Gillie the Kid writing rumors. We're gonna talk about those writing rumors right now because Birdman said, I never put a record out on him to take money off of him, and he for sure never wrote one rhyme for Moolah. So that's two statements that Birdman is saying right there. He never put a record out on him to make money off of him. You know, with a lot of people saying that the CEOs eat off of the rappers' budgets for the albums and stuff like that. He's saying that he never actually was going to be putting out a Gillie the Kid album. That's something I would like to hear Gillie the Kid respond to. If Birdman and him ever talked about doing an album, if there was a budget in place for the album. I had remembered hearing that Gillie said his deal with Birdman did not take place because of the fact that he didn't want to sell his publishing. Um, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking he was offering Gillie the same amount for his publishing in like 2003, 2004 that Biggie was offered for his publishing in like 1995. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of weird to get offered that same amount of money. So Birdman is just dispelling the rumors about Lil Wayne having been written having his lyrics written by Gillie the Kid. He's dispelling those rumors. Yeah, Birdman did a whole bunch of stuff with NBA Youngboy. That's true. It's kind of BS that they couldn't get their whole relationship situated. NBA Youngboy just blew up to be such a major artist. So Birdman said, I never put a record out to make money with him. I find that interesting. We could get the answer to that from Gillie in the future, hopefully, if he goes any further with this. Hopefully, Wallow interviews him about this on $1 Million Worth of Game to really get to the bottom of it. I'd like to know if there was ever going to be an album that Gillie recorded for Cash Money or if it was all just behind the scenes shit, you know? I'd like to know. And then he says he never wrote one rhyme for Lil Wayne, for Moolah. Everyone knows that Lil Wayne was known as Young Moolah Baby. So he never wrote a single rhyme for Lil Wayne. I mean, shit, it's only been a rumor since 2004, 2005. So we're roughly 19 years on this rumor that has finally been dispelled by Birdman. You know what I mean? If we look at Lil Wayne's career drastically changed when he entered the mixtape circuit. After Lil Wayne's first two Carter albums, you know, the albums that he made after like The Block is Hot, 500 Degrees, and there was another one. What was it called? Blackout or something like that. After he made those albums, to me, which kind of were uninspired. One second. Let me get the actual titles for the albums, guys. I know I got the first couple ones right. I'm just being real, though. Those albums to me were kind of uninspired. Lil Wayne was young. Lil Wayne to me was being put on the spot. And when I say put on the spot, I mean just at a young age to actually be, you know, putting out albums alongside Juvenile and, you know, BG, who was just a different type of dude. You know what I mean? BG obviously was a different type of dude. So he had The Block is Hot. Oh, that it was Lights Out, not Blackout, Lights Out. And then 500 Degrees. You see what I'm saying? But then after 500 Degrees, he started the Carter series because he wanted to be taken more seriously. So he did the Carter. The Carter 2, in my opinion, was better in 2005. But then after that, he entered the mixtape circuit that was popularized by 50 Cent and G Unit. And he absolutely shot through the roof on the mixtape circuit, you guys. It was just different than the material he was doing on the Carter 1 and the Carter 2. My favorite song from Wayne is Hustler Music, though. You know what I mean? I do feel like that's why Lil Wayne was able to transcend from being a mixtape artist that was all over to being an artist that could actually produce credible music. You know what I mean? 50 and G Unit at times, or different artists all over, would use the mixtape circuit to find their single for their album. They would use the mixtape circuit to find the single for their album. They were fishing, you guys. They were fishing like artists out there trying to find a single. Lil Wayne just did it to flood his music and show everybody that he had a different style than that pseudo gangster image that he had put out to the public for so many years. He could rap about different things like fish and pigeons and lighten up his kush and all the different types of just concepts like that you would not really expect from a Cash Money recording artist. Lil Wayne stepped outside of the box on the mixtape circuit. Yeah, and it was fire ass material, and it was material that nobody could have ever written for him. It was material that he just jumped in the booth and did. It was not pre-existing material. It could have not been, which was what was different from the first two Carter albums. You could tell with the way that the song formats were that it was material that was thought out. The mixtape Lil Wayne was just off the wall like you were tripping balls. That's the style of music it was. And he really caught your attention because you were like, damn, this dude really was the best one from the Hot Boys. They're like, I knew he was better than Turk. Salute to my brother Turk. But he actually was the best one. Birdman was right. He was actually the best one. But you want to know what? Yeah, because Birdman at a certain point lost it all. You know what I mean? At a certain point, they lost it all. Birdman lost it all at a certain point, you guys. But he had Lil Wayne, and they rebuilt it all. But in longevity, Lil Wayne was the best one. BG had his time where he was the best one. Juvenile had his time where he was the best one. But in longevity, Lil Wayne is the best one, Bird. To be honest with you, his career is just the one. He's become the major superstar. But that's not to take anything away from my brother Turk either. You know what I mean? Turk has found a way to make it work. I really feel like he kind of got gypped on his album Young and Thuggin', the 2001 album that he dropped out. I feel like that album was dropped a little bit later than it should have been dropped. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that album was dropped a little bit later than it should have been dropped, just by if you go over the work and if you just look over the material, like 2001, that was a little left field for that album. But I've talked with Turk about that album. You know what I mean? I think I actually put out a blog where we were talking about that album. Turk is a real one, man. And I wish him all the best and all the success. I mean, you can even see to this day, his lyrics are still being used in a lot of different spots. You remember the rhyme Diddy wrote, or actually that Diddy recited. Don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks. Don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks, you guys. Everybody wants to talk about Gillie writing for Lil Wayne. That's not what got Gillie the Kid popular. Gillie the Kid writing for Lil Wayne isn't what had Suave House calling. It is not what had Jay-Z knocking at their door. You know what I mean? Guys, let's be real. If Gillie wasn't hot, Birdman wouldn't have been around Gillie the Kid. If Major Figgas wasn't hot, they wouldn't have been around Cash Money. They wouldn't have been around Warner Brothers. Let's be real. They wouldn't have been rapping with Beanie Sigel. Let's take it back. Come on. If Gillie wasn't hot, he wouldn't have been around all those people. Birdman's the type of dude who wants to surround himself with who's hot. So Gillie had some shit to say about Birdman. And Gillie actually addressed the whole Beanie Sigel situation, getting hit by Beanie Sigel. Or knocked out, as so many people want to say. Whoop-de-whoop. Gillie read a comment. Gillie read a comment on his Instagram live. He said, Gillie, what's up with Beanie Sigel smacking you? Gillie addressed it. Gillie said, come on, man. Y'all don't believe that. Cut it out. You just wanted something to say. That's all. My whole thing is, why Birdman waited so long to say something? I can't even respond when you say something 25 years later. What are we talking about, man? You only responded because you don't want to hear because you don't hear the roar of the crowd no more. That's right. The heyday of Cash Money is over. You know what I mean? The heyday of Cash Money is over. Birdman is in the process of pretty much, I think he put out a documentary about Cash Money, and I don't even think it was on Netflix. So he put out this documentary, which you gotta believe is going to be leading to the Cash Money feature film, which I would have to imagine Birdman owns the rights to. You know what I'm saying? He's got the rights to the Birdman feature film. Birdman is also talking about a Cash Money reunion tour. You know, these are the things that Birdman actually holds the keys to, you know, doing these type of things, doing a Hot Boys reunion, a Cash Money tour. From the sound of it, it's not going to be a Hot Boys reunion. From the sound of it, it's going to be more of a Cash Money reunion because it doesn't look like Birdman wants to involve everyone, you guys. And it doesn't look like everyone's going to come back. I don't know if Lil Wayne's going to come back. But I could tell you Manny Fresh looks like he'll probably come back. Juvenile will probably come back. BG's back and ready. You know what I'm saying? It could be a Cash Money tour, a Cash Money movie, BG new album. You know what I'm saying? That's what it looks like Cash Money's future is going to be in the near future. That's what it seems like Cash Money's future is going to be, you guys. Birdman is going to pretty much capitalize off of the nostalgia of Cash Money. I think that's the best thing he can really do right now. Especially with the fact that he fumbled the ball with signing so many new talent. You know, not as much as Gucci Man kind of fumbled the ball since he came home from jail, and prior to that, not really signing up any of those talents like Young Thug, like the Migos, like Future, like, you know what I mean? Like all these guys that just blew up right under Gucci Man's eyes, and he didn't really have them signed to deals under major studios, major record companies where he could actually capitalize. Instead, he had like seemingly independent type deals with them where they were really sold off easily, whether it was Scooter or Young Thug or the Migos. Like, come on, these artists on a label, you'd be making so many millions of dollars. I just don't get it. You know what I mean? I don't get how they dropped the ball like that. And Birdman actually had the opportunity to sign Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan. He had the opportunity to sign Rollo. He had the opportunity to sign Young Scooter, some of these people as well. I literally witnessed Birdman taking Young Scooter out to every single nightclub. You know what I mean? But in all fairness, you know what I mean? Because Gillie's asking the question, why talk about this after 25 years? In all fairness, Gil, Birdman responded because he was asked the question. He was asked the question. And who asked him? Who asked him? Conveniently. Who asked him the question 25 years later? Some irrelevant shit. It was an irrelevant blood that asked him the question. Wack 100. So that says everything right there. Nobody else, not one other person. He couldn't wait to discredit Gillie's name. And also, look at the timing of it. Like, why now? You got to ask yourself, like, really? Y'all ganging up on the man? Like, really? Like, why y'all jumping somebody, man? Shoot a fair one. Let him respond to one coward first, being Thice. He responded to Thice already. Give him some time. Stop hogging his nuts, Wack. Stop hogging his nuts all the time. Holy shit. They're all just dying for attention and they want it now. He might give it to you, homie, but he'll give it to you at his leisure. You get me? You're lucky the man's mentioning you on his live because you don't know, you know what I mean? You don't have to respond to everybody that says your name. Like, come on. You really don't have to. And it took 25 years because nobody was thinking about it. The same way nobody was thinking about Boxing Bar, except for who? What's the name of Pacoima's finest? Nobody was thinking of that cold, irrelevant shit except for old heads like Wack 100. So Gillie saying it took 25 years. Yeah, that's because it takes one fuck boy to bring it up, big homie. And they bring it up. Wack's like, oh, it's gonna do hits. But you know what? Gillie isn't even addressing you, Wack. He's not addressing Wack 100. Gillie the Kid is talking about the 5-star general. He ain't addressing no Doja like Wack 100. He doesn't need to talk to you. Oh shit, that's lit. That's lit to hear. Lil Wayne, BG, Juvenile, and Turk. I'm here for that, man. You know, Turk is my big homie. He gave me an opportunity to actually interview him right when he got out of jail, and I've always respected him for that because he's one of the only people in the industry that have kept it real with me like that. Like I remember I reached out when he was locked up and it may have been Amani, but they had reached back and said, "Yo, Turk isn't going to do any interviews until he gets out of jail." And then he got out of jail, and he actually still did the interview with me. That was pretty early in my career, like my first 5 years of my career. So I always respected Turk for that, man, for keeping his word. And like I said, man, Turk has done really well for himself in this new generation, you know what I mean? The way that he's taken to the industry. Because let me tell you, shit changed. You know what I mean? Back in the day, Turk finessed himself in a way too, where he went from Cash Money to Koch. You know what I'm saying? But now the whole industry has changed from actually selling albums in stores. You know what I mean? It changed. Everybody was so focused on selling albums in stores back in the day, man. Even before being a blogger, I was really planning on owning my own record label and selling albums in stores, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But don't worry, man. I got my publishing right. Lil Wayne and BG, I want to hear it. Lil Wayne and BG, Juvenile and Turk. If they got something out, I want to hear it. I think a Hot Boys reunion album would probably go double platinum. You know what I'm saying? I think it would probably go double platinum. I think it would do some little baby numbers. But yeah, yo, hope y'all enjoyed the podcast tonight, man. I'm about to get out of here, man. Everybody enjoy the night. Peace. I'm out.